Hey everyone, this is Carbonite, bringing you another standard match. Kind of a quick one today. I have myself on the right playing Clarissa once again, and on the left we do have another low tier deck, which is going to be those B heroes. So I am going to be going first, which is, I guess it's alright. I don't really know what to say about this. Is a pretty low tiered matchup in general. I'm actually going to be riding into that grade 1 and completely whiffing off the top 7 because unfortunately the grade 1 Clarissa can only get a grade 1 earns corrects, and I think I saw like mostly 2s and like whiffs there. But going into the Galactic Hero turn, we are going to be just riding into the grade 1, drawing 1 card, and then using the grade 1's skill to search out the Aegis, the hero base. And I think I saw in that little image that I don't think these cards are updated on Decklog, because that's where I got all my images from. These are actually supposed to be called Galactic B Heroes, but for whatever reason the images I used are not yet updated. But I am just going to be guarding early. I do know that Heroes is a deck that gets extra critical, and they do swing for really big numbers. Thankfully the numbers are not going to be as terrible since I am actually going first, so I guess there is a reason. Because they do get an extra 5k from the Vanguard skill, and there is one really annoying grade 2 that gets an extra 10k so that it hits for 25, which is really annoying if you are still stuck on grade 2 by the time they get to grade 3. But thankfully in this scenario I'm not going to have to deal with that. But I do search out that multi-attacker there, swinging for the 15 since I have no rear guards. Drive checking into a heal trigger, which maybe I should have actually taken some damage, but in all honesty there was no way of actually knowing that. And of course that would have changed the composition of my deck. But anyways, going back to the hero turn, we are going to be just riding into that grade 2, activating the hero base Aegis, checking the top 7. In my experience, every time heroes activate that, they almost always whiff. But of course that's not what we're going to be seeing here, as we add a Persona Ride to hand, putting the shield, as well as I think that was the new grade 2 from BT9. Is it BT9 or BT8? One of those. It's a double rare. Probably the best new card that they actually got into the base there, scouting it. And then, of course, that Rampart Espada is going to be soul charging, using the skill of the grade 2 to scout another card and draw a card, scouting another one of the shield guys, which is going to let us soul charge once again. So swinging 10k at the Vanguard, I'm going to choose to take it because I do want 1 CB. But we are going to be seeing red OT flipped here, which is very not optimal, because all it's going to do is let us draw an additional card, and then since we have no standing rear guards, we can choose 1 card from our hand and call it to the board. Looks like we are actually going to be calling the copy of the Persona Ride and just swinging it for 13 at the Vanguard. And I'm just going to be taking both these attacks because I'm actually running very low on shield. I've been discarding a lot of 15k shields for ride line, and I did guard early, as we see me discard another draw trigger to ride into my grade 3 Clarissa. And then using that grade 3 Clarissa skill, of course, to pitch another copy of Clarissa to add the aim to be the strongest idol to my hand, which is why we play the extra copies of Clarissa in the deck, because you can't actually search it out unless you either... Well, I guess my reasoning for it is normally you could play the regular Clarissa in the ride line because she does have the on place over the grade 2 that you counterblast 1 and search out the aim to be the strongest. But I did not really like that because it felt to me like kind of a waste of counterblast now that we have a lot of things to counterblast with, which is mostly the multi-attack in the deck. And I really didn't like that, and I thought I would rather commit some more deck space to Clarissa, the old Clarissa, because it is technically an earns correct, but I need to check the ruling on the different names with the dress up. But anyways, I'm just going to be calling that grade 1. It's only a 5k, and it's not really that good. It's a terrible place to put it, but I had nothing else, so I do have to come in there because I do want to try and get this attack to hit because I have a very poor hand. So I really was just aiming for that draw 2 off of the Clarissa skill. But of course, my opponent is just going to be PGing, which is not terrible. I got a PG out of the opponent, so at least there's that, I guess. Activating the second hero base, getting back to the game, we are seeing 3 cards once again hit, the grade 2 added to the hand, and then another copy of the grade 2 as well as the Hammer Girl put into the base, or scouted I should say. So looks like we have a whole bunch of heroes in that base, so we have a lot of defensive options. Looks like we are going to be using the hero in order to discard the other copy of the Bold Salos and then counterblasting one to call it out. And then I don't think we have anything in the drop zone to actually scout, so we are unfortunately going to not be able to get that skill. So this first swing is going to be for 25. Going to be guarding with a 15k shield, and then attacking the Vanguard for just 13. I'm going to hit a 2 to pass. My opponent's going to hit a front trigger and a healed trigger, and that is going to pass through, which is deeply unfortunate, especially since I didn't get another defensive. This is going to swing for another 25. I no longer have any good cards, so I'm going to just be soaking up all of that damage and going straight to 5. I believe everything in my hand is a earns correct left, so not really able to guard that. Anyways, Persona Riding, using the skill to Soul Blast 1 instead of discarding Clarissa to add another copy of the Aim to be the Strongest Idol, so that we can at least deck thin, even though I still do have the copy from last turn. Hopefully we'll be able to make a couple of plays and we won't actually get stopped by another first damage OT. But anyways, we're looking to have everything that we need to go into this turn. We just got to call out our board. I believe I did manage to get all of my earns correct names, calling out the grade 2, the grade 1, the other grade 1 I should say. What was her name? Leona or something? I remember I said her name in the last one, but it looks like unfortunately I don't have Evelyn, otherwise I probably would have called that first. But instead we're gonna have to call another copy, and then making a little bit of a mistake here. I use the skill to put it into the soul from hand. What I'm actually supposed to be doing here is calling it down, because I don't actually have 6 different earns correct names. So I'm just correcting that here. I just need to call it out, then activate the Aim to be the Strongest Idol, and then use the skill to put it into soul. So it loses that extra 5k, but we still do get the skill, so we do have our 5 attacks for this turn. So swinging the first swing for 25, hopefully not hitting into a defensive, because that would severely hamper my plans, but that's going to hit with 15k guard. Swing for another 25, probably going to be met by another 15k guard, because these are the easier attacks to swing. So swing the Vanguard using the skill of the grade 2 to restand the other grade 2 rear guard. I'm going to be attacking that entire column as well as the Vanguard circle for 38, drive checking 1 into nothing and drive checking 2 into nothing. So things are looking extremely bad for me right now, considering how I have two order cards in my hand. They're 0 shield value. But we do actually hit into offensive. Not the end of the world, because this next attack is swinging for a 30, so that is still a 10k shield. Just going to be taking that one and then swinging this last attack for 38. Pretty good, because it is still a 20k guard. We're going to opt to take that, and looks like we do hit into a heal trigger there. But of course we are not going to be able to heal, because I am at 5. Yeah, I totally planned that, because I was I was heal denying him. But not really. Anyways, we are going to be activating the third Aegis base, which is really bad for me, because that means that now the Vanguard is going to be getting an extra critical, and I'm standing over here with, what is that, like 5 cards in hand, 2 of them being order cards, and the rest probably being like 5k shields. So really my only win condition, or live condition I guess, is hitting into either my OT or a heal trigger, and then maybe I have enough, because my opponent actually didn't Persona Ride. I do have the double intercept. If I can make his attacks into 5k guards, there is a small possibility that I could live, especially since the front row is only getting an extra 5k. But we do also have a bunch of cards. My opponent has a 3 CB. We could theoretically even call out the Hammer Lady, retire my rear guards, just reduce my shield value. But in all honesty, that probably is not necessary in order to do things. But looking at that hand, it's looking kind of rough, considering I think we have Persona Ride that we added off of the base, and then just another one copy of the grade 1. But looks like we're going to be swinging the Vanguard using the skill to counterblast 1, give it an extra 15k, and then since we do have those 3 bases, we're going to get an extra critical. I have no way of guarding this, so I'm going to just no guard it. Drive check 1 is going to be a critical trigger, so that is going to be 3 damage, and drive check 2 is at 4th base. Drive check 1 or damage check 1 is a heal trigger, so I'm going to heal, and then second is thus the Clarissa. So that is going to the game. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to do those YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey everyone, this is Cardfight, bringing you another standard match. Kind of a quick one today. I have myself on the right playing Clarissa.